Hello there. This month I've decided to put in my diary a fruit. So I've taken this Diospyros lotus, which is a persimmon, and I'm going to study this. So the order is Ericales, and the family is Ebenoche, and the genus is Diospyros. So I'm going to study this fruit because I thought it would be a nice addition instead of just having only flowers. I like to paint fruits as well. In here, I made a mistake. So what I'm doing is I just scraping off very lightly with a knife the ink that wasn't supposed to be there. So in order to keep my persimmons in a good shape, I keep them in the fridge in a plastic container, closed, and inside there is some kitchen towel. It's a little bit damp, so it will keep fresh for a long time. So now I'm going to match the color for the leaf, which is a really dark green. And what I'm using is Winsor Blue red shade and transparent yellow. So it's a blue with a red bias and a yellow with an orange bias. So you get this dark muted green. And then to that, I add a little bit of quinacridone magenta to make it even more darker and muted. So I take down the swatch and write down what I used. And this is for the top of the leaf. And then to this first color, I add more transparent yellow, and I will use that for the stem of the leaf. So it was a little bit too much yellow. I added back a little bit of blue, and that's perfect. So for the fruit, which is not ripe yet, unfortunately, but I'm planning to add the ripe fruit afterwards when they become orange. So I'm using Winsor Blue red shade and Hansa yellow, and of course a little bit of quinacridone magenta. If you notice, I'm using quinacridone magenta in most of my mixes, but I find it's a great red to add to mute down a green. So this way is a really good match. And then the next color I'm looking for is the color for the calyx. And for that, I used the mix that I just done. So I called it C, and I add a little bit more yellow and a little bit more red, the magenta, so that you get this sort of greenish color that is a bit different from the color of the fruit. So it's just a matter of adjusting slightly. So a bit more red, a bit more yellow, and you get that good match. And then the next thing I want to match is the orange area. So there are different shades of orange, but I'm mixing the Hansa yellow and yes, you guessed it, quinacridone magenta to make this orange. So the first one is quite light, but it's going to be good, something like that as a base, as a first wash. But I've added a little bit more red so that it's slightly darker. And just jot down the colors, of course, the pigments. And then I'm adding even more red to make it a bit darker for those darker areas. So I usually just write down that I put more magenta in this case. And then what I did was I added that mix to the previous mix to have that greenish orangey color, which is the color of transition between the area that is green and the area that is orange. And now I'm mixing the color for the branch, which is a brown. So I'm mixing the Windsor Blue red shade, quinacridone magenta, and transparent yellow. So I put more red and blue, so I have this violet, and then I add the yellow a little bit at a time. So I get this lovely brown, which is perfect for the branch. And if I add a little bit more yellow to this brown, I will get a lighter brown for the areas where the light hits the branch and is a bit lighter. So just wanted to point out that the first mix and the last mix are exactly the same paints, only in different amounts, different proportions. So you get two very different colors. So I hope you liked this video, and watch out for the next videos in the series.